Days ahead of the make-or-break UN climate conference in Glasgow, Scotland, the alarm bells are reaching a crescendo. And this report with a clear message that the world needs to halve annual greenhouse gas emissions in the next 8 years, or else.
Less than 1 week before COP26 in Glasgow, we are still on track for climate catastrophe, even with the last announcements that were made. The 2021 emissions gap report shows that with the present nationally determined contributions and other firm commitments of countries around the world, we are indeed on track for a catastrophic global temperature rise of around 2.7 degrees Celsius. Now, even if the announcements of the last few days will materialize, we would still be on track to clearly more than 2 degrees Celsius.
The report finds that were net zero emission pledges implemented, it could limit warming to around 2.2 degrees Celsius, closer to the well below 2 degrees goal set out in Paris. Around 132 countries have publicly pledged to reach net zero emissions by 2050, while China and Saudi Arabia have pledged to reach the goal only 10 years later in 2060. The UN has pushed for the phasing out of coal by 2030 in OECD countries and by 2040 for all others. The report cautions that net zero plans remain vague and are not always reflected in the nationally determined contributions.
As the title of this year's report puts it, the heat is on. And as the contents of the report show, the leadership we need is off. And far off. We know that humanity's future depends on keeping global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. And we also know that so far, parties to the Paris Agreement are utterly failing to keep this target within reach.
Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.